This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about Atlanta, because we're headed towards the big WrestleMania in Atlanta. And Meltzer would say at this point, ticket sales have already topped 50,000. So there's no concern about the Georgia Dome being full or not. But he is saying that doing less than 500,000 buys, which he thinks could be a possibility, would be the lowest number for a WrestleMania since 1997. Were you thinking in this era, hey man, business is headed down? Or did you feel like, hey, we're doing pretty well?
Well, WrestleMania, paid a lot of bills.
Oh yeah.
And when you heard about it selling out the live show in a couple weeks, and plus the seats that have been released and all those things that they do as you get closer to showtime, that pays a lot of bills. But yes, I was very aware that we were in a little bit of a crossroads where we needed to, we had lost Austin, we had lost Rock, we had lost some of those stars, who didn't have Taker, on a regular basis, I don't think, during that time. But, we were in a transition of trying to build some new stars and get some new guys over. And when that happens, when you're in that interim period where you don't have that hot baby face or two that just, they come out and they just take over the show, then you're going to see a drop, because baby faces are the ones that sell T-shirts, and heels, in the old days used to be the ones that sold tickets. But when you quit being able to get legitimate heat, then the burden also falls on the baby faces to draw the money.
Let's talk about Vicky Guerrero, another beloved figure. She comes out to nuclear heat. She's admitting that Ziggler had attacked Long, and she said Ziggler was confused and only trying to show Vicky how much he loved her. She called it a crime of passion and asked Teddy Long to hire him back, saying he was sorry. And she told Teddy Long comes out and says, I'm in a rehiring mood. So he rehires Kelly, who runs to the ring and chases Vicky around. And eventually she catches her and starts to bounce her head around. And that's when Lay Cool comes out. This segment is just sort of there for me, but I guess we needed some let me up. We needed some filler, but why right after the tag match? I don't understand the pacing of this show just yet.
Nor did the people that wrote it down. If you're going to have just a quick title switch that nobody cares about, you know what I mean? It would be regarded as downtime, because there was probably no story behind the tag match stuff, and just running random people down. It was just to get folks on TV, attractive ladies, you know who they are. They've got some airtime on the show. But when you pay, how much is it for a pay-per-view event?
I think it was probably $35-$40 here.
You want to see all the stories and all the angles and all the top guys in a contest. And to back these two, no disrespect to anybody, but it's time for something big.
Right.
Just as a fan looking at it, you have to layer that show that you slip in cameos by different talent. You got to layer that and lay it out where the show continues to build. You don't want a big pothole at that point in the show.
Well, let's get to the event itself. I put it over earlier saying this is a great show to go back and watch. And here's why. The readers of the Wrestling Observer gave it 97.3% thumbs up, only 0.5% thumbs down, only 2.2% thumbs in the middle. People love this show. You watched it back for the first time in 10 years. What'd you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down?
Yeah, I think so. Would you agree?
I like the show. I think it's well done.
I don't, how I am about two of one, we've got two of the same match.
That's a little too much, but they did okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, they're very creative. They tried to switch up the spots and things that they can do, but there's a lot of things that still got you saw in the second match that you saw in the first match, crashing into the glass and all that stuff. And each time you do that, it is less effective. It's like dives during a show.
Yeah.
First one, spectacular. Second one, semi-spectacular. Third one, ho-hum.
I like the SmackDown Chamber match, the early one, rather than the late one better. You agree with that?
You know why? Because they had a fresh crack out of it. You hadn't seen anything.
Okay, you're not wrong. Meltzer would write, the Elimination Chamber on 220 was the final pay-per-view before Mania. It was one of the company's best pay-per-view shows of the past 5 years, as noted by the overwhelming thumbs up. Like with the Rumble, our volume of responses was way up from last year, which would indicate a good sign when it comes to pay-per-view numbers. The results from the show were predictable, as they pretty much had to be without doing harm to your cause. Well, speaking of dangerous cages, we're going to be talking about one today, the 2011 Elimination Chamber. Can't believe it. It's been 10 years since this happened. February 20th, 2011, Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. 11,500 fans were in attendance that night, which sounds like a pretty good crowd, but the arena holds 20,000 for basketball. So business is down, and the show was promoted locally as the first time there had been a wrestling pay-per-view show from the building, which is the case. And that's pretty amazing when you consider the major arenas in the country since 66, at least at one point or another, have had some major shows. But when WCW ran the Bay Area, they ran the Cow Palace. WWE ran the Cow Palace as well, even San Jose. Why do you think, for whatever reason, Oakland was not a stronghold?
I'm not sure if it was issues. It had to be some issues with the building because, the setting was great in that building. It was easy to get to, easy to get in and out of. You still had a large population if you counted there in San Francisco in just a small area. And if for the rabid fans over in San Jose, wasn't that far to get to Oakland. So not sure why that ever happened unless it was a hang up with the building somehow.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.